through the door, drop his bags. Daddy's home. Take his phone. Friday night, Shabbat Shalom. He would walk through the door, drop his bags. Daddy's home. Take his phone. Friday night, Shabbat.
Hold up, because the internet is saying Erika Kirk's latest Fox moment didn't just get emotional, it got messy fast. And if you've been watching this whole Erika versus Candace Owens storm build day by day, then you already know one tiny clip is all it takes to set social media on fire. Now, to be clear, we're talking about what people online are claiming, what's being clipped, reposted, and argued over in real time, not confirmed facts. But that hasn't stopped fans from reacting like they just witnessed a full-on public meltdown. Some viewers swear Erika looked like she was on the verge of snapping, while others say Candace's name being dragged into the conversation was the real trigger that sent everything sideways. And here's the wild part. The comments are split down the middle. One side is screaming, "Leave her alone, she's grieving," while the other side is saying, "This is calculated and the timing is suspicious." Meanwhile, Candace's supporters are already firing back, and people are claiming there's more behind the scenes than anyone is admitting. So what actually happened in that moment? Why are fans yelling, "Candace, stop"? And who's really controlling the narrative right now? Because this doesn't feel like it's ending quietly, not even close. The moment the Fox segment hit social media, the clips started moving faster than the actual broadcast. Not because anyone had hard proof of anything, but because the vibe felt tense in a way people love to argue about. On one side, viewers were saying Erika looked drained and raw.
We're all grieving in our own way, and they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard, and I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that.
Like she had been carrying a heavy weight for too long. On the other, people were saying the timing was too convenient, like she chose this stage because the cameras would force everyone to treat her version like the main story. What people keep replaying is a short stretch where the host tries to keep things neat and respectful, and Erika keeps pulling it back to the same point. She's tired of being turned into a headline. The host gives her that gentle TV voice, the one that sounds supportive but also says, "Hurry up, we have another segment." And Erika, who had been holding her face steady, suddenly lets her voice crack. She says something like, "I'm not here to entertain anyone. I'm here because I keep seeing my life turned into content, and I want it to stop." That's when the chat rooms lit up, not because that sentence is shocking, but because the audience could feel the shift. People online are claiming the host tried to steer the conversation away from names, away from beef, away from blaming anyone. But a few seconds later, Candace's name floats into the discussion like a match near gasoline. Some say the host mentioned her first. Others say Erika brought her up. Either way, it became the only thing anyone wanted to talk about. And this is where fans say it went sideways. Erika leans forward, eyes glassy, and says, "I'm not doing this game. I'm not fighting influencers while I'm trying to survive my own days. I'm begging people to have some decency." The host tries to soften it. "I hear you," she says, "but there are people asking questions." Erika's face tightens, and the clip catches that microsecond where it looks like she's deciding whether to stay polite or say what she really feels. The internet loves that moment.
For me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want. Go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode, going after the people that I love because
they slow it down, add captions, and suddenly her expression is being translated like it's a code. Then Erika says, and this is the line everyone is quoting, "You don't get to build your platform on someone else's pain and then call it truth." People online immediately connected that to Candace, even though Erika doesn't have to say a full name for everyone to understand the target. The comment sections turned into a battlefield within minutes. Fans are shocked, not because it's a new conflict, but because it happened on a polished set where emotions are usually edited down to something digestible. One post goes viral claiming Erika's team didn't even want her to do the interview. Another post claims the opposite, that she wanted this, that she rehearsed it, that the breakdown was planned. None of it is confirmed, but once those ideas are out, people pick a side and defend it like it's personal. People described as close to Erika are painted as split. One friend, allegedly, tells a blogger that Erika keeps waking up to new rumors, new accusations, new strangers acting like they know her life. Another friend, also allegedly, says Erika isn't fragile, she's furious, and she's done letting outsiders narrate her story. Candace's supporters push back just as hard. They repost clips of Candace talking about accountability and public questions. They claim Erika is trying to shut down conversation by making it emotional. Erika's supporters reply that grief isn't a sport. The audience was left divided in the way online crowds always are. Strangers bonded by a comment section and convinced their side is the only one with morals. Back on the set, Erika tries to regain control of her voice. She takes a breath and says, "I've sent everything I've heard to the right channels."
You know, I have to say it, I've never seen you like this.
No, this is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. Yes, I believe in our judicial system. I do. We have a hell of a team working on this, excuse my French. But this is not okay.
So you want to put these people back in the box where they've been from?
I don't care what box you're in. But just know that your words are very powerful. And
I want answers more than anybody, but I'm not going to be bullied into proving I'm human. The host nods, then asks, "Do you think the speculation will ever stop?" Erika pauses, swallows, and says, "It stops when people stop getting paid for it." Fans are shocked by how direct that sounds. In the clip, it's not screaming. It's a controlled kind of anger that makes people uncomfortable because it doesn't fit neatly into the role they assigned her. Some viewers wanted tears, some wanted strength, some wanted silence. She gives a mix of all three, and that's why it spreads. After the show, according to online chatter, Erika's phone becomes a war zone. Messages from supporters, messages from critics, messages from people claiming they have information, messages from opportunists asking for an interview. Someone posts a screenshot that looks like a producer text. "You did great, but we need you calmer next time." The screenshot might be real or might be fake, but it adds fuel because it turns her emotion into a product note. Candace, in the way the internet expects, doesn't stay quiet. People claim she goes live and says she won't be guilted into silence, that she respects tragedy but refuses what she calls manipulation. Her supporters call it clarity. Erika's supporters call it cruelty. And the more they argue, the more the algorithm feeds them, serving clip after clip like it's a season finale. Late that night, Erika posts a short message. Nothing flashy, just a sentence. "I refuse to be turned into your entertainment." She deletes it within a few hours, but screenshots travel faster than regret. People interpret the deletion as strategy, as panic, as advice from her team, as a sign she's watching the reactions like everyone else. Then, according to more online talk, someone in Erika's inner circle finally steps in. A relative calls her and says, "Stop reading comments."
machines and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed?
Stop chasing the fire. You can't heal with strangers yelling in your ear. Erika doesn't argue, she just whispers, "I tried to stay quiet and they still made stories." The relative answers, "I know, but you don't owe the internet a performance review of your emotions." Even her publicist allegedly tells her the same thing. The more you respond, the more you become the headline they want. Then another claim drops into the mix. A mutual acquaintance allegedly tried to set up a private call between Erika and Candace, a chance to clear the air without microphones. Some say Erika ignored it. Some say Candace never offered. Some say both sides are leaking half-truths to keep the story alive. None of it is confirmed, but it changes the mood. Because suddenly the question isn't only who was right on TV, it's whether either of them actually wants peace. And in that swirl of claims and counterclaims, Erika finally does one thing that feels real no matter what side you're on. She goes quiet. No new post, no follow-up interview tease, just silence. Fans read it as exhaustion. Critics read it as calculation. But for the first time all day, the story stops expanding and starts echoing. The same lines repeating, the same theories looping, until the only thing everyone agrees on is that the spotlight is hotter than ever. And the silence was exactly what made people spiral harder. Because when someone stops posting in the middle of a storm, the internet doesn't take it as rest, it takes it as strategy. Suddenly, every fan page started doing the same thing, pulling old clips, comparing facial expressions, zooming in on hand movements. building entire storylines out of pauses that could mean nothing at all. Within hours, a new rumor started circulating that Erika's camp was furious about how the interview had been clipped. Not the full conversation, not the context, just that one sharp line turned into a viral weapon. People online claimed her team was privately calling it a gotcha edit, like someone wanted to make her look unstable so the focus would shift away from the bigger questions being asked. Again, nothing confirmed, but it lit up group chats and reaction channels like a match. Then came the first twist that really shook her supporters. A blogger posted that a so-called insider from the network said Erika wasn't supposed to go as far as she did. The post claimed there were agreed talking points, soft boundaries, a neat lane for her grief, and that she crossed it on live TV, forcing producers to scramble in real time. Was that true? Nobody could prove it, but it sounded believable enough that people ran with it. Fans were shocked because it changed the story from emotional interview to behind-the-scenes power struggle. Viewers started asking, who actually wanted this interview, Erika or the people around her? And if she did want it, was she prepared for what would happen when her words hit millions of screens? Someone else then dropped a screenshot that looked like a private message thread from a staffer. She walked off set shaking. She said she felt like she was being used. The screenshot could be fake, but it spread anyway, because it gave the audience a new image to argue about. Some fans said, see, she's overwhelmed, let her breathe. Critics said, if she walked off shaking, why did she come back online later at all? Why post anything? And that's where the second twist came in. Later that night, a short video appeared on a small account that usually posts exclusive updates. The account claimed it was filmed outside the studio, showing a black car pulling up, a figure stepping out, and a voice saying, that's her. The video was grainy, barely anything clear, but the caption was loud. Erika's team had a meltdown. Within minutes, the comment section turned into a mess. One person wrote, this is sick, let her live. Another replied, public figure means public scrutiny. Someone else responded, she didn't sign up to be stalked. And just like that, the story expanded from a feud to a debate about boundaries, not even between Erika and Candace anymore, but between fans who wanted empathy and fans who wanted blood. Behind the scenes, according to online chatter, Erika's inner circle started pressuring her to take control before the narrative got fully stolen. One alleged friend was quoted saying, if you don't speak, they'll speak for you. Another alleged friend supposedly said the opposite, the more you speak, the more they'll twist it. The family was left divided, at least in the way gossip pages described it, like a tug of war between protectors and strategists. Then, in the middle of this, Candace's audience pushed a new angle. They started saying Erika's grief was being used as a shield to avoid questions about money, leadership, and who benefits from sympathy. Those posts didn't come with proof, just suspicion wrapped in confidence. And because the internet loves confidence, the idea spread. Reaction channels started saying things like, why now? Why this network? Why bring it to TV at all? The questions piled up until even people who didn't care before started watching just to keep up. Erika's supporters hit back hard. They posted older clips of her being private, staying out of drama, refusing interviews. They said she didn't chase attention. Attention chased her. One comment went viral that basically summed up their mood. You want her silent? Then you punish her for being silent. That line got reposted everywhere because it made people feel like they were standing for something bigger than gossip. And then came the third twist. A supposed mutual acquaintance claimed they witnessed a private conversation attempt fall apart. The story going around was that someone tried to set up a direct call between Erika and Candace. No cameras, no audience, just two women talking like humans. The rumor said Candace wanted it recorded for clarity, while Erika refused because she didn't want her pain turned into content again. Was any of that real? Nobody could confirm, but it made the feud feel even uglier because it suggested neither side trusted the other enough to breathe in the same room. The next morning, another clip started trending, this time not from the interview, but from an older event where Erika and Candace were seen smiling together. The caption read like a punch, from allies to enemies. Fans were stunned by the contrast, because it made the current hostility look less like ideology and more like betrayal. People love betrayal. It's the quickest way to turn a disagreement into a saga. And that's when the internet started inventing motives. Some claimed Candace felt repressed, others claimed Erika felt attacked. Some said it was all about power, not truth. Others insisted it was about respect, not influence. The more motives people imagined, the less the original topic mattered. That's how these storms work. They eat the facts and leave a louder story behind. In the middle of all this noise, Erika finally did something that made even critics pause. She posted a voice note to her story, a short one with no makeup, no studio lighting, no dramatic music, just her voice sounding tired. She said, "I'm not fighting anyone. I'm fighting to stay standing. I'm fighting to keep my family safe, and I'm begging people to stop turning my grief into a game." Emotions ran high because that kind of rawness hits different than a polished interview. Her supporters flooded the comments with prayers, hearts, and messages like, "Protect your peace." But critics didn't back down. They said the voice note was emotional manipulation, a way to disarm questions by making people feel guilty for asking anything at all. Then, almost immediately, the voice note was gone, deleted, and that deletion created a whole new wave of chaos. Fans started saying her team forced her to take it down. Others said she panicked. Another group claimed she posted it on purpose, just long enough for screenshots because she knew deletion makes things spread faster. Nobody knew, but everyone had a theory. The next twist hit around midday when a small podcast host claimed they received an email from someone connected to the situation. The email allegedly said the interview wasn't meant to be confrontational, but Erika felt cornered by weeks of online talk and snapped when she heard certain accusations repeated like they were facts. The host read the email dramatically like it was a secret confession. Viewers ate it up. The clip went viral, and now the story had a leaked email layer too. By now, the audience was left divided into messy teams. There were people defending Erika like she was family. There were people defending Candace like she was the only one brave enough to speak. And there were people who didn't trust either side, convinced it was all a machine designed to keep clicks.
Flowing. And then, right when the feud seemed like it couldn't get stranger, a brand new rumor dropped that made everyone gasp. A reporter claimed Erika was being approached for a tell-all deal. Not a confirmed contract, just conversations, supposedly. The internet reacted like someone rang a bell. Critics screamed, "See, it's business." Supporters argued, she deserves to tell her story before strangers twist it. The argument wasn't even about truth anymore. It was about who gets to own pain. As the day went on, one thing became impossible to ignore. Every time Erika tried to step back, the internet pulled her forward. Every time Candace defended her stance, the backlash doubled. And with each reaction, both sides gained more attention, more followers, more headlines. It started to look like a trap with no exit, where silence looks guilty, speaking looks staged, and every human emotion becomes evidence for someone's narrative. And right when it started looking like the story was peaking, the internet did what it always does. It found a new angle to keep the fire alive. People began claiming there was a second, unaired moment from that same day, something that didn't make it into the clean TV clip everyone keeps reposting. According to the accounts pushing this, Erika didn't just get emotional on camera, she allegedly got tense the second the cameras cut away. One rumor said she leaned toward the host and whispered, "You all keep calling this questions, but it feels like an attack." The host allegedly replied, "We're trying to be fair," and Erika supposedly shot back, "Fair would be telling people to stop making money off my pain." None of it is confirmed, and it could be completely made up, but it spread because it sounded like the kind of raw exchange people imagine happens behind bright studio lights. Then came another claim that turned the comment sections upside down. A small account posted what looked like a screenshot of a private group chat, allegedly from a production team. The message said, "She's not okay, but she wants to go again." And someone else replied, "We can't let her go off script." That single phrase, "off script," became the new obsession. Fans started saying, "See, they wanted her controlled." Critics said, "See, she wanted a scene." The audience was left divided all over again, arguing about a screenshot nobody could verify. Erika's supporters responded by digging up older moments where she was clearly trying to stay private. They posted clips of her walking past cameras without speaking, refusing to engage, keeping her face down. They argued that if she wanted attention, she would have been doing this from day one. They started saying the real reason she spoke now is because the internet kept pushing her into a corner until she finally broke. And honestly, that argument landed for a lot of people, because it matched the timeline everyone felt even if they couldn't prove it. But Candace's side didn't back off. People claimed Candace went live again and said something like, "I'm not going to be emotionally bullied into silence." They say she framed herself as the only one willing to ask the uncomfortable stuff, and she warned her audience not to fall for what she called camera tears. The clip of that live stream spread too, and it turned the situation into a full-on tug of war, sympathy versus suspicion, compassion versus critique. And then the next twist hit, the one that made even casual viewers stop scrolling. A long thread started trending where someone claimed to be a former acquaintance of both women. The thread was written like a diary entry, full of dramatic lines, and it basically claimed this feud wasn't random. The writer alleged there had been tension for a while, quiet tension, the kind that stays hidden until grief, money, and attention collide. The thread said, "When you're in the same circle long enough, you learn who smiles for real and who smiles for cameras." That line got reposted thousands of times because it felt like a quote from a show. Was the thread real? Nobody could confirm, but people didn't care. They treated it like a reveal. Fans were shocked, reactions exploded, and suddenly everyone was acting like they had discovered the secret origin story behind the conflict. That's when Erika's silence started feeling louder than words. People kept refreshing her page, waiting for a response, and when it didn't come, they filled the empty space with their own scripts. One account posted, "She's meeting with her team right now." Another posted, she's done with interviews. Another posted, she's planning a sit-down where she will finally say everything. The rumors contradicted each other, but that didn't slow them down. It made them multiply. Then, late that afternoon, a short audio clip began circulating, supposedly from someone near Erika. The voice in the audio says she didn't want to say her name, but they kept pushing it. And then the voice adds, once it's on air, it's not your life anymore, it's their content. The clip had no clear source, no proof, and could easily be fake. But it sounded emotional, and emotion travels. People started reacting like they had been given a backstage pass. One fan commented, they're trying to break her. Another said, she needs to stop feeding the machine. Another wrote, if she keeps talking, she's going to lose herself. The comments weren't just gossip anymore. They were people projecting their own fears into her situation, turning it into a mirror. And then, just when it seemed like the story was stuck in loops, Erika allegedly made a move that shifted the tone. According to multiple accounts, she reached out privately to someone connected to Candace, not Candace directly, but a mutual channel, with one simple message, stop. Not a debate, not a threat, just stop. Again, there's no confirmation, but the idea of that message alone made the internet react like a bomb went off. Because if it's true, it means Erika wasn't just reacting publicly, she was trying to shut something down quietly. Candace's supporters immediately pushed back and claimed if anyone is sending stop messages, that proves they're scared of questions. Erika's supporters said no, it proves she's human and tired. The family was left divided, at least in the way online accounts described it, because some people around Erika allegedly wanted her to fight harder, while others wanted her to disappear from the spotlight completely. Then came another dramatic twist. A fan page posted that a close friend of Erika unfollowed someone connected to Candace. It sounds petty, but in internet culture, unfollows are treated like courtroom evidence. People screenshot the follow list, compare timestamps, and narrate it like a betrayal scene. Reaction channels started saying, look, the circle is choosing sides. Emotions ran high over something that in real life might mean nothing, but online it meant everything. Later, another clip resurfaced, one of Candace speaking to her audience about truth and integrity, and people began splicing that with Erika's Fox moment line about people making money off pain. The mashup video was edited with dramatic music, slow zooms, and captions that made it look like a trailer. The edit didn't prove anything, but it made the story feel bigger, more cinematic, more like a showdown that had been written. And then the strangest twist of all, a few accounts began claiming there was a third person who might step into this mess publicly. Not a politician, not a government figure, just someone from the broader circle who has enough visibility to sway the public mood. The rumor said this person was tired of watching the fight and might set the record straight. Nobody named them clearly, but people started guessing, and that guessing became its own chaos. One name would trend for an hour, then another. Each time fans would shout, say it, say what you know, and each time nothing official happened.
Anticipation became the entertainment. By evening, the entire thing had turned into a pressure cooker. Erika's supporters were begging her to rest. Candace's supporters were demanding she keep pressing. Neutral viewers were exhausted but still watching because every hour brought a new twist. And that's when a new allegation started spreading that made the mood darker. Someone claimed Erika's team was receiving threats and harassment because people were blaming them for the online drama. It wasn't presented as a verified fact, more like a warning that things were getting out of control. If there's one thing that can shift a messy feud into something serious, it's the idea that real people are getting hurt behind the screens. Some commenters immediately cooled down, saying, this has gone too far. Others doubled down, saying public figures should expect heat. And in that ugly split, you could feel how quickly online entertainment can become something heavier. Erika, according to the chatter, spent that night with the people closest to her, trying to decide what the next move should be. One camp allegedly said, do another interview and clear it up. Another camp allegedly said, stop talking and let the noise burn out. And Erika, caught between those voices, supposedly said something that hit her supporters hard. No matter what I do, they'll call it a performance. That single idea, whether she said it or not, became the real heart of the story, because it explained why fans couldn't stop arguing. One side saw a woman trying to breathe. The other saw someone trying to control a narrative. And in the modern attention machine, both can feel true at the same time, which is why the storm kept growing, even when the main person at the center of it was barely speaking at all. By the time the dust started settling, one thing became obvious. The actual clip was only a few minutes long, but the reaction turned it into an all-day event. And when something becomes an event online, it stops being about what was said and turns into a battle over what people think it meant. That is exactly what happened here. You had viewers watching Erika's tone like it was a clue, and you had Candace's supporters treating every criticism like an attack on their side. And in the middle of it, there was a woman on camera trying to speak through grief, while millions of strangers decided whether her emotion felt right or wrong. The biggest reason fans said the moment went sideways wasn't because Erika yelled or caused a scene, it was because she sounded like someone who had reached a limit. In the clip that's been circulating, she talks about wanting justice, about sending anything she hears to the proper channels, and about not having time to be told to calm down while she's trying to hold everything together. That kind of frustration hits people differently depending on what they already believe. Some viewers heard pain, others heard anger, and some heard a public figure realizing that the internet doesn't accept quiet suffering as proof of anything. Then you have the Candace angle. In the content people are sharing, Candace frames her response like she's pushing back against what she sees as emotional pressure. She talks about money being made off the situation, and she presents herself as someone who will keep asking questions even if it makes her unpopular. Again, we're not declaring any hidden truth here. We're talking about how the clips and reactions are being interpreted. But the effect is the same. The audience gets split into camps, and each camp starts treating the other like a villain. What makes it feel extra intense is that both sides are using language that sounds moral. Erika's supporters say, "How can you question a person's grief?" Candace's supporters say, "How can you demand silence in public life?" Both arguments sound righteous, which is why the comments get so heated. Nobody wants to admit they're just watching for drama, so they frame their side as the one protecting decency, truth, loyalty, or accountability. And that is how a clip becomes a culture fight instead of just a moment. But here's the part many viewers keep missing. The internet rewards whatever makes people feel something fast. Sadness, anger, suspicion, outrage, all of it performs well. And that is why the same seconds keep looping in everyone's feed. It isn't always because the moment is the most important. It's because the moment is the most shareable. And when the shareable moments are emotional, people start treating emotions like evidence. You can see that in the way people are analyzing her delivery. Some commenters are saying her expressions look rehearsed. Others are saying that is what shock and exhaustion look like. Neither side can prove their interpretation, but they don't need to. They just need enough confidence to convince their own audience. And once that happens, the story grows legs of its own. People don't share the full context, they share the version that matches their mood. What also keeps the fire going is the idea of control. The more the debate stretches out, the more it becomes about who controls the narrative. Does Erika get to define her own public image in a time when everyone is talking about her? Does Candace get to question what she wants without being labeled heartless? And do audiences get to treat real people's pain like a weekly show without feeling guilty about it? Those questions sit underneath the comments, even when nobody says them out loud. And that's why the loudest reactions are not even about the actual words. The loudest reactions are about what the words represent to each side. To some viewers, Erika represents someone trying to protect her name from constant speculation. To others, she represents a public figure stepping into the spotlight and expecting special rules. To some, Candace represents someone refusing to back down. To others, she represents someone pushing too hard at the wrong time. It becomes symbolism, and symbolism is harder to settle than facts. There's also a quieter thread running through this, the pressure of being watched while you're breaking. Even if you believe Erika is handling things perfectly, it is still intense to have strangers decide whether your tears are acceptable. And even if you believe Candace has a right to speak, it is still intense to have strangers demand that you soften your tone because someone else is grieving. The internet rarely allows nuance, and this situation is built on nuance, so the audience keeps swinging between extremes. At a certain point, people started sounding less like fans and more like exhausted spectators. You saw comments like, "This is getting too dark," and "Why are we even arguing about how someone feels?" You also saw comments like, "If you go on TV, people will talk." Both can be true, and that's the problem. Truth can hold multiple realities at once, but online discourse wants a simple winner and a simple villain. So the question becomes, what happens when neither side truly wins? Because even if one person trends higher for a day, the bigger machine still wins. The clips get views, the reactions get clicks, the reposts get engagement, and everyone involved ends up pulled deeper into the cycle. It's not always a conscious plan. Sometimes it's just how the attention economy works. The more chaotic it gets, the more people watch. And the more people watch, the more reason there is for another clip, another response, another statement, another round. By the end of this stretch, the vibe online shifted from shock to anticipation. Not anticipation of justice or closure, but anticipation of the next moment. That is the part that should make anyone pause. Because when the audience starts waiting for grief to produce a new scene, the line between empathy and entertainment gets blurry. And that blur is exactly what both sides accuse the other of creating. If you strip it down to the simplest version, what people are reacting to is a collision. Erika is speaking like a person who wants room to breathe, and Candace is speaking like a person who refuses to be told what questions are allowed. Both positions pull hard in opposite directions, and the internet sits in the middle cheering like it's a fight card. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the crowd stayed divided, not because they all know the truth, but because the story lets them pick a team. And the most realistic outcome, based on how these storms usually go, is not a neat resolution. It's a cooling period followed by another flare-up when a new clip drops, a new quote trends, or a new angle gets introduced. The healthiest move would be less noise, less reacting, less feeding the loop. But the hardest move is always the healthiest one, especially when attention is loud and silence is interpreted as guilt. So if you're watching this unfold, the safest way to frame it is exactly what we've been doing. People are reacting to clips, people are debating interpretations, and a public feud is being amplified by the way the internet works. That's it. Not a confirmed conspiracy, not a proven plan, not a guaranteed motive. Just a viral moment that hit a nerve, then grew into a spectacle. And until the audience stops rewarding the spectacle will keep finding a way to return. Now, before we wrap this up, remember what we're actually watching here. We're not sitting in the room with these people. We're not living their private reality. We're watching clips, reactions, and headlines that are flying around online. And the internet has a way of turning a few minutes of footage into a full-blown storyline overnight. So the real question isn't just what Erika meant on Fox or what Candace meant in response. The bigger question is how fast the public turns emotion into entertainment and how quickly that turns into sides, accusations, and nonstop chaos. And honestly, that's why this whole moment hit so hard, because depending on how you view it, you either saw someone speaking from pain and exhaustion, or you saw someone trying to regain control of the narrative. You either saw Candace as fearless for pushing back, or you saw her as going too far at the worst possible time. And the truth is, most of what's going viral right now is still just people interpreting what they think they saw, then adding their own assumptions on top of it. But here's what I want from you. Do you think Erika had a right to go on TV and address the rumors head-on, even if it made things messier? Or do you think going public only gave the internet more fuel to twist everything? And what about Candace? Do you think she's asking fair questions, or do you think she's crossing a line that shouldn't be touched? Drop your take in the comments, and be real about it, because I want to see where you stand after hearing both sides of what's being claimed online. And if you made it to the end, do me a favor, hit the like button because it helps push this video out. Subscribe if you want more dramatic breakdowns like this, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update when another clip or response drops and the story shifts again. Share this with someone who's been following the drama too, because I already know their reaction is going to be wild.